Alright, so today I want to pull some Ball Python hatchlings out of the incubator, fresh out of the egg. We'll take a closer look at them, we'll give them some names, and then we'll put them up in the hatchling rack. And these eggs are actually Bobby's grandchildren. So the snake that I have around my neck here, this is Bobby, my 9-year-old male bamboo. Can you believe he's 9 years old already? He is a really big male, probably the biggest male that I've ever seen. And he actually produced every single bamboo in my whole collection. So one of his offspring actually was breeding another female to produce this clutch of eggs. So it's his offspring's offspring. So I guess you call it his grandchildren. And we got some pretty cool bamboos. I think we got a couple bamboo calicos. And yesterday I actually kind of peeked in the box and we had some issues with this clutch. Kind of a bittersweet ending to the breeding season. I actually had 2 snakes that were DOA in the egg, which is really unfortunate. And then I had another one, which was the white one, which is a bamboo lesser, the blue-eyed leucistic. It almost looked like it was a twin, but the problem wasn't that, is it looked like the twin died in there. It was just like a mass in the egg. But the one that survived actually had the umbilical cord attached to the big mass inside of the egg. So I actually had to go in there yesterday. I took some dental floss, tied off the umbilical cord, and then clipped it. Looked like I did a good job because it wasn't bleeding or anything, so we'll have to take a look at that one. Kind of keep an eye on that guy going forward. So I'm going to pull these hatchlings out of the incubator. It's pretty exciting, and we'll check them out. Alright, so this is the very last box in the incubator of the year. I'm actually going to shut off the incubator after this, and in about another month we'll actually start pairing up snakes again. So this was actually a cross between a bamboo calico and a lesser. So we'll get bamboos, calicos, lessers, bamboo calicos. We'll get some normals. And keep in mind, both the bamboo and the lesser are in the blue-eyed leucistic. So if you get both genes, you end up with an all-white snake. Take a look at that. Wow, look at all those bamboos. That is awesome. So this year I think I only produced like 2 or 3 bamboos, and besides this box, and look at all those, that's fantastic. Almost all bamboos except just a couple in here, it looks like, maybe, which is pretty wild. So the first one I want to take a look at is this little guy here. I was kind of worried about this guy. This is the one where oh wow, it looks good. It looks real good. Look at that, wow. Look at how small he is. That is tiny, tiny, tiny. So yeah, so he actually came from, I think it was this egg where there was just like a mass in the egg. It was like an undeveloped twin, so I'm pretty sure that this one was a twin. Alright, let's take a look at this guy first. This guy is really super skinny, just kind of flopping around. Wow. But let me kind of zoom in a little bit. So this is a blue-eyed leucistic with the bamboo and the lesser. Look at how tiny he is. And the thing that I'm really happy about on this guy is, take a look at his little belly button there. It looks pretty good. It looks like it completely fell off, which is awesome. Doesn't really look like there's any issues with this guy that I can see so far. Looks pretty good. Just super tiny. Look at how tiny it is. Wow, this is like one of the tiniest ones. I've actually had one a lot tinier than this that really freaked me out. It was so tiny. But this is definitely one of the tiniest ones. Looks good. No kinks that I can see. So this is a bamboo lesser possible calico. And if you actually make a blue-eyed leucistic, there's really nothing that'll break through most blue-eyed leucistics. It depends what the genes are in the blue-eyed leucistic. But as far as the bamboo lesser, if you had calico in there, you wouldn't know. It's kind of funny, even without the calico, it almost looks like there's a little bit of a kind of a calico pattern on the sides of it. It can kind of trick you into thinking maybe there's some calico in there, but I'm not convinced you can actually tell unless you actually breed it to something and then isolate the calico in the breeding. But that guy is a tiny little guy. Look at how small he is. Super tiny. That is a really tiny snake. Really cute too. Alright, so I want to pull a name. These are names, viewer suggested names. Hopefully most of them are gender neutral. This one, the problem is I actually slipped in a few that aren't gender neutral, like Jamie, and then, you know, I have Elvis in there too, and you know, it always tricks me. It'll end up being a male named Jamie. Well, I guess you could have a male named Jamie. But that's, yeah, alright, so I'm going to change, I'm going to change it because this is more gender neutral right here. This is Flicker. Alright, so here's my setup for these hatchlings. I use a ARS hatchling. It's ARS caging that makes these hatchling racks, and these are the gray tubs that I use. And look at how big the tub is compared to that tiny little snake. That's a tiny snake right there. And this is the first time I actually took one of the blocks of the Pro Coco and I just put one end in the water about that deep, and I let it sit in there for a few minutes and then pulled it out and kind of you know, kind of broke some off on the block without using the whole block. Because what I found, if you actually soak the whole block and then break it all apart, it smells really good for about 4 or 5 days, and then it starts not smelling like a fresh block. So I try to take just a little bit off so I can preserve the freshness of the block, because I actually just went through and replaced all the coconut husk on all my tubs, so I really don't need the extra coconut husk. Then I use the 8-ounce deli cup. I actually wash my own cups. I've been washing my own cups, reusing them for 5 years now. They've been doing great. I put a little binder clip just on the front of the tub, and I move it to the right if they eat, to the left if they don't eat, and then I flip it up for, you know, they have different meanings. Sometimes I'll put 2 or 3 binder clips for different meanings. And then I put a brand new feed card, and I actually just printed these in Excel. Just kind of made them up myself. I used a baseball card holder and a blue 3x5 card with a little Velcro on the back, and then a little Scotch tape right here so I can pull it out. If you don't have the Scotch tape, it's like impossible to pull it out of there. You definitely need a little piece of Scotch tape. And then what I do is, on a lot of these, the card's a little bit bigger than the holder. So what I'll do is I'll just trim off the bottom with the scissors so it fits in there. I'm pretty sure underneath all my videos I actually have the links to the cards and the holders and the Velcro and everything if you want to check it out. I think I might have the template link underneath my video, so you'll have to double check on that. But that's pretty much my setup for the hatchlings. So another thing I do is I print a label with my Brother P-Touch that is really dusty. It's been a while since I used it, and it's been like a month since I actually had some hatchlings, which is kind of crazy. And this is the label I make. I make a label for every tub. That's what it looks like. And this is Flicker Clutch 14 of 2022, so C1422. It's a bamboo lesser possible calico. And if I actually decide to hold this back, what I'll actually do is I'll make a magnetic backing for this, and I'll move it with the snake. But normally I just do like a sticky tape and then keep them in the same tub in the same spot on the rack until I actually sell them. That's kind of my system. Alright, so let's take a look at what else we have in here. Wow. We got a whole bunch of eggshells. Look at this big mass of snakes right here. That's incredible. Those are some chunky snakes too. Wow. That's pretty amazing. Alright, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's see here. I think normally I'll start with the most jeans. Wow, take a look at that beauty. Wow. Beautiful. This is definitely Bamboo calico. There's no lesser in there because if there was lesser, you'd have a white snake. And I'm thinking, this one looks kind of interesting. I think these are both bamboo calicos. And I think the rest are straight bamboos, I think. Usually the bamboos, you can tell they have little hearts in the sides. Like that, and like that. So I think we have 3 bamboos, 2 bamboo calicos. Pretty impressive. So let's take a look at this one. This one is super impressive. Wow. That's got a high white on it. Take a look at that beauty. Wow. That is really cool. Look at the sides on that. And kind of what's weird on the bamboo calicos is they start kind of like this with kind of a streaked out side. And the older they get like a really bright white, almost like a printer paper white on the sides. They really change as they get older. It's pretty amazing. Well, look at that pattern on the top. That is awesome. That's going to be probably one of my nicest bamboo calicos right there. That is really awesome. Really reduced pattern up on the top. You got some good bamboo pattern up on the front. That is, wow. I'm almost tempted to keep that snake. I have somebody I want to keep his holdbacks. I definitely can't keep this one. I already have a really nice bamboo calico, but this one is pretty awesome. Alright, so first thing we check for is kinks. Make sure there's no kinks anywhere. Or look at the umbilical cord. Look at how chunky this guy is, boy. Look at the eyes and the mouth. No defects. Looking really good. That's a good looking snake right there. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful snake. That is pretty awesome. I absolutely love the bamboo calicos. I should show you the one. As a matter of fact, I should pull that one out. I actually have a bamboo calico combo. I think it's a bamboo pastel pinstripe calico. That's a really crazy looking snake. Alright, so this guy's name, we're going to name him Cedar. Alright, so I'm going to take a break and show off this girl. Take a look at this. This is a bamboo calico lemon blast with the pastel and the pinstripe. Look at how she's really changed as she's gotten older. Really crazy. Look at how bright yellow her head is. Super bright yellow. She's a really wild looking snake. This is one of my holdbacks from last year. I don't think she'll be big enough to lay eggs this year. Maybe next year, but look at the bamboo calico, how it actually interacts with the different genes. I could probably do a whole video on just bamboo calico combinations. You start mixing other genes in with it and it's just really impressive. Really crazy looking snake. Look at that thing. That's really awesome. So that's the potential of the bamboo calico. Alright, let's take a look at what else we have here. Let's go for the other bamboo calico here. Pretty awesome looking snake. And sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out if they have calico in it on some of these. They can kind of trick you at first. But normally, what you'll actually see with the bamboo calicos is a lot of streaking on the sides. When you get the calico in there, it really streaks it out. And the other thing, well, it's kind of hard to tell in these because they're in a really deep shed. If you actually look at the eyes, this one's in a super deep shed, which is, it's kind of hard to tell the colors. But my version of calico actually has a lot of like a coppery color to it. Usually you see kind of a reduced pattern, but the thing that gives it away is the streaking on the side. Even if you actually, a lot of times it'll cover up all the heart patterns on the side. Every now and then you'll see one that kind of looks like a heart maybe. But this is definitely calico. Look at how wiped out the sides are. That's going to be a good looking snake too. I think it's not as impressive because it's in a deeper shed. But yeah, these get really super impressive the older they get. Alright, so let's look for kinks or anything here. Look at the belly button, looking good. Looking good. It's a good looking snake. Has both eyes. It's kind of freaking out because it really can't see anything. It's so deep in shed. Sometimes we get a little squirrely. Alright, so let's pull a name for this guy. Pretty awesome snake right there. Alright. I've never used this name. This guy's name is Zool. Alright, so let's take a look at what else we have in here. Let's take a look at these bamboos. I don't believe any of these have calico in them. I don't think so. I think they're just straight bamboos. I'd say probably by far one of my most popular snakes that a lot of people want is a little baby Bobby. This is a little baby Bobby. And normally you can tell there's nothing in here by the little hearts. On the side you can see like a little heart right there. You can kind of zoom in. But a lot of times you'll have like multiple hearts. Bobby has a whole bunch of hearts if you actually look really close. Probably the most hearts that I've seen in any bamboo. So you have one here, kind of a heart there. But usually when you add calico, it kind of completely wipes it out. It's kind of like almost like a double alien head on some of these. It's kind of an interesting, more like hearts I'd say. Like that one right there. It's kind of an interesting pattern on these guys. These guys are really deep in shed. Really grayed out, super grayed out. They'll get really intense as they get older. They pretty much start out, well, after he sheds, they'll be like a really high contrast bamboo. And then he'll pretty much stay like that into, you know, as an adult. He'll really keep the high contrast. He won't fade out at all. They're really nice. All right, looks really straight. Belly looks really good. Face looks really cute. It's a good looking snake right there. All right, let's pull a name on this one. Here's a good name. Well, I don't know if this is gender neutral on that one. All right, we got some non-gender neutral names. Let me pick this one. Here's a good name. Kai. Alright, let's pick another snake here. We'll take a look at another bamboo. Definitely my favorites. You know, it's funny, I actually started in ball pythons about 6 years ago. And I started looking for a snake that nobody really had. And I picked the bamboo as my snake. Not many bamboos. As a matter of fact, here in Colorado, when I did my very first reptile show, I brought in a whole bunch of bamboos and bamboo combinations, and I'd say 99% of everyone had never heard of a bamboo, which is pretty amazing. Everyone's like doing a double take at my table. They're like, what in the world is that snake? They had no idea what a bamboo was. And it was at the time when the bamboos were just starting to come down in price. They were pretty expensive back then. I think for Bobby I paid like $1,100 or something. The original bamboos sold for, from what I understand, they sold for over $100,000, which is kind of crazy when someone, I don't exactly know who first discovered the bamboo. That'd be kind of interesting to track down. This guy looks really cool. Take a look at that. Got some interesting streaking along this side. Interesting pattern. Has more alien heads, kind of. Don't see a whole lot of hearts on this guy. He's ticklish, that's for sure. Ticklish little guy. He looks pretty straight. No problems there. Face looks good. Deep shed, and a really super deep shed. It's kind of crazy. Good looking snake right there. Oh, let's look at the belly button here. The where the umbilical cord used to be. Looks good. No problems there. The guy's a little bit freaked out. They get a little bit jumpy when they're in shed just because they really can't see anything. It's just kind of crazy. I think this is a alright, so I was thinking about that last name, Kai. I don't know if that's gender neutral. And Jeeves, I think I already have a Jeeves. So we're starting to get some duplicates in here. Let's see. I don't think I have this one. How about that? Ginkgo. Nice name. Alright, looks like we have 3 left in here. So let's take a look at this. This guy looks like he's a little feisty here. Looks like he wants to bite something. Alright, so let's take a look at this bamboo. I think at the very end I want to show you one of my reticulated pythons that I'm selling. One of my lavender albinos. I'll pull one of those out and see if we can get a kind of demo one of those. Should be kind of cool. I sold a few of them. I still have quite a few little baby retics left, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so let's take a look at this guy. Another straight bamboo. No other genes. Looks nice and straight. Belly looks good. Head looks cute. In a deep shed, super deep shed. Good looking snake right there. Pretty squirrely. Alright, let's pull a name for this guy. Good looking snake. Alright, so I don't think I have I think one of my snakes has this name, but I don't think one of my hatchlings has this name yet this year. So I think this is a good one. Joker. Alright, so 2 snakes left here. And take a look at this. So we have one here, and it's kind of hard to tell now because they're really both in a deep shed, but you can definitely tell there is a difference between them. And you can actually see in this one here a little bit of a coppery color. That is my calico coming through, and this one is just a normal. So you can definitely see, even with almost looks like a normal pattern right on the side right there. You can definitely tell the end here is really streaked out, and then it has like that kind of a copper color kind of coming through compared to that one. So this is definitely a calico, and it's kind of hard to tell because they're in shed and they're really young too, so as they get older they really develop more of that calico look. They get more of the high white sides on them. So this is a good looking calico here. It's looking a little feisty in the egg boxer. I've never been bit by a hatchling Ball Python coming right out of the egg, but those retics, man, coming out of the egg, those things are so fired up. They'll just bite you right out, come out of the egg and bite you. And it really takes some handling on those retics to really get them mellowed out, which is kind of wild. Versus Ball Pythons are just kind of mellow by nature. But look at the pattern on the side. That is pretty awesome right there. That's a good looking calico. The belly button looks good. Alright, face looks good. Covered with a little perlite here. Good looking snake right there. No kinks that I saw on this one. Definitely want to check for any kinks. I've had 3 this year with kinks, which is crazy. One of my retics and 2 ball pythons. So, looking good, looking good. Let's give this guy a name. See what we can find here. Here's a good name. This guy's name is Rusty. Alright, last snake. I'm saving the best for last. Normal ball python. The least expensive one in my entire hatchling rack right here. All right, so there's actually really good odds. Just one normal out of a whole clutch of 10, which is pretty good. So take a look at this. It was kind of weird. My very first reptile show that I sold snakes at, it's before the show started. I'd never sold snakes before, and I was thinking, all right, I wonder what's going to sell first. Is it going to be the bamboos or the calicos or the white snakes? And the very first snake that I sold was a normal, and the second snake I sold was a normal, and the third snake I sold was a normal. You actually go to the reptile shows and these sell like crazy. They're definitely the #1 seller. A lot of people are just looking for a pet snake for their kids and they don't want to spend that much money, and they just buy a regular normal ball python. Doesn't matter if it's a male or female usually. Some people want the females to breed, to use as really cheap breeders. I actually still have some normals that I use as breeders. Especially if you have multi-gene males, they do really well as breeders. Looking good, no kinks that I can see. No problems with the belly. Let's look at the eyes. This guy's like freaking out. All right, buddy. Looks like he's got a really cute face. No problem with the eyes or the mouth. It's always interesting to look at the belly pattern on these. Kind of a regular, normal pattern. Nothing unusual there that I can see. Sometimes you can see like clues for hets. You know, like het pieds usually have some, you know, tracks down the belly. Some het clowns can have some different markers. Sometimes the het clowns can be brighter than a regular normal. I don't really see any indication of any hets in there. Just a good looking normal ball python. And we'll pick a name for this guy. Queen. Do we want a male that's named Queen? Obviously, I put a whole bunch of names. I didn't sort through the gender neutral ones. How about this one? This is a sweet name. Nectar. All right, so I want to finish up with one of my super dwarf reticulated pythons. This is Trolley. Take a look at this guy. And I actually hatched out about 40 of these guys. Sold a few of them. I still have quite a few. I have males and females. I just sold the female that was listed on my website, so I need to post another female. These are lavender albinos, 50% het anery. They are 50% Jampea dwarf. They have some super dwarf in them. I think it's like 18%. I'd have to check. I have to check the ad to figure out the genetics and the percentages and all that. But they have super dwarf and a little bit of mainland. But you know, being a couple months old already, still pretty small. Doing pretty good. They have really high metabolisms too. You feed them something and they like digest it really super fast, and it looks like they're like super skinny right away. It looks like super skinny, and then you feed him and he's got a lump, and you can feed him and feed him and feed him, and then a couple days later they look like they're starving to death. It's like a really super high metabolism on these guys. And this particular snake right here, this guy's name is Trolley. I actually had sold him. I sold him the other day, and then the lady that bought him realized that she lived in Florida, which bans reticulated pythons. So I had to refund her money and put it back up for sale. But a really good looking snake. And when they were young, they were super bitey. They were like biting me right out of the egg. And then as they got older, they're really mellowed out. So this is a lavender albino. So there's actually two different types of albinos. There's the purple and the white. So this is het for purple and het for white. It's kind of like the candies and the candinos. One copy of each type of albino, and it gives you a visual, and it's kind of halfway between a purple and a white albino. So if you actually bred two of these together, I was actually considering keeping a couple of these for myself, breeding 2 of them together. You'll actually get purples, lavenders, and whites, which is pretty awesome. And possibly you'd get some aneries because the male that produced this was 100% het anery. And your thoristic, which is pretty awesome. Really awesome color. I don't know if you can see how awesome the colors are. It's so hard to capture the beauty of these snakes though. I did pretty good on my ad, I think. I took pictures out in the sun with my phone. And it's got some really cool orange eyes. Look at the eyes. And some of them have like a whiter eye, and some of them have an oranger eye. Even though they all have the same exact genetics, they're all exactly the same. But good looking snake. Look at how long he is. Super long. You can't even get it on the camera. Long, skinny snake. That's how retics are, long and skinny. But they're really mellow down. Look at how mellow he is. Super mellow. Which is pretty awesome. So if you're interested in one of these, you can, my Morph Market link is underneath all my videos. You can just go over to Morph Market and then ask me about this snake. And see what I have for sale over there. I'll slowly post them a few at a time. I need to definitely post a female here in the next day or 2, but I do have females and males available. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for coming along, and I will see you next time.